The year was 1987. A cold night in New York City.
We have an exciting show, and I'm telling you, I promise this is going to be an exciting amateur night. So let's bring out our next contestant. Give a nice Apollo welcome.
That night wasn't as the 13-year-old girl would have expected. Being booed on stage could have taken her off course. I can attest to this as an individual who has failed few times on a dance stage. But rejection is God's protection. She and the audience that night would not have known this yet, that Lauryn Hill would later become the greatest female rapper of all time.
I treat you bad and wrong, my dear.
This is the true epitome of what a man can do, a woman did greater. This is the story of a femme fatale, young, multifaceted, intelligence. This is the story nobody tells you of breaking stereotypes and setting standards. But I'm gonna rewrite history for you today to show you a world where the girl is the hero, the genius, less is more, ladies, and a city on a hill can never be hidden, gentlemen. So pull up, like, share, and subscribe so as many people as possible can watch this. Let's get into the life, the lesson, the love of Miss Lauryn Hill. So, background. Lauryn Hill was born on May 26, 1975, to Mother Valerie Hill, who was an English teacher, and Father Mal Hill, a computer consultant in Newark, New Jersey, US. Lauryn was born in a musical family, and she recalls growing up listening to musicians Aretha Franklin, Marvin Gaye, and Stevie Wonder. She has said, "There were so many records, so much music constantly being played. My mother played the piano, my father sang, and we were always surrounded by music." But get it, Lauryn attended Columbia High School, where she not only founded the school's gospel choir, she was in the cheerleading squad, preparing lessons, went to dance classes, was a leader among the student body, and the cherry on top, and finally succeeded. Yeah, she reminds me of me. Good times. Lauryn later commented, "I had a love for, I don't know if it was necessarily for academics, more than it just was for achieving, period."
Contrary to the opinions of others, I don't think I'm cool at all. I definitely didn't grow up thinking I was cool. I was popular, but not because I was cool. Probably because I had a certain amount of independence and self-confidence from a young age. That's probably what made me cool, because I always wore like funny clothes, and kids were always like, "What does she have on? What is that? What are those shoes? Why'd you put those shoes with that shirt? That doesn't match." And then I'd go, it's cool. And then like 3 or 4 months later, they'd have it on. And I said, "But wait a minute, you said that my shoes didn't match my shirt."
As a freshman in high school, Lauryn was introduced to a music group by her mutual friend, Prakazrel Michelle, aka Praz. Lauryn, Praz, and another female vocalist were part of the Translator crew before the other female vocalist was replaced by Praz's cousin, Wycliffe Jean. The trio began performing in local showcases and high school talent shows. Lauryn, who was initially a singer, started rapping too, and her flow was inspired mostly by male rappers like Ice Cube. In 1991, Lauryn featured in a play by MC Lights off-Broadway, and an agent noticed her. Later that year, Hill appeared on a soap opera, As the World Turns, in a role as a troubled teenager, Kyra Johnson. And in 1993, she co-starred in Sister Act 2 alongside Whoopi Goldberg, playing Rita Lewis, an inner-city Catholic school teenager with a rebellious attitude. Director Bill Duke credited Hill with improvising a rap in a scene, noting, "None of that was scripted. That was all Lauryn. She was amazing."
a lot of power in prayer. So I pray for the people who don't understand me. And I tell you, to be honest with you, I pray more now to be understood. No, excuse me, to understand than to be understood. I pray now to learn how to love than to be loved. Because God has given me an abundance, so, I don't need God. These people don't understand me. They think I'm crazy.
Meanwhile, Lauryn was referred to as up.She by her crew, the Fugees, which was a name derived from refugees, a derogatory term given to Haitian Americans at that time. The Fugees were signed to Rough House Records, and in 1994, they dropped their first album, Blunted on Reality, which sold very few copies. This was the 1990s after all. Hip-hop was bursting through the airwaves and was becoming widely accepted and popular at the time, but most of it was gangster rap, while the Fugees produced consciously inspired music that most top-level executives weren't pushing to the mainstream.
I wasn't on stages like this. I was on rap stages rapping about, violence and guns. That we get paid to rap about that stuff. They actually pay us more when we rap about more ignorant stuff, so I make sure I even align and come talk on stages like this.
So they were disappointed and almost dropped the Fugees. The Fugees were given another chance, and the management insisted that they adopt gangster rap attitudes. Murder, kill type of beat. The Fugees knew that to make a stand on hip-hop, they had to set the trend and not to adopt to it. Wise choice.
All the kids that I meet is that we are regular people, just like the kids, that listen to the music. We're the same exact way. We're no different. We wake up in the morning, we have those little things in the corner of our eyes. We do the same exact things, feel the same things.
So in 1986, the Fugees dropped their second album, The Score. In this album, they infused old school samples plus new school sounds with socially conscious lyrics. Lauryn's vocals were impeccable in their single hits like which was an unlikely groundbreaking hit. Lauryn's artistry placed her at the forefront of the band, with some fans urging her to begin a solo career. Yet, The Score peaked at number 1 on the US Billboard 200. It sold about 7 million copies in the US and more than 20 million copies worldwide. The Score garnered praise for being a strong alternative to the gangster idiom, and Hill stated, "We're trying to do something positive with the music because it seems like only the negative is rising to the top these days. It only takes a drop of purity to clean a cesspool." Fugila and Ready or Not, which were also top singles from the album, highlighted Hill's singing and rapping abilities, even Newsweek mentioning her irresistibly cute looks and the most powerful new voice in rap. The Fugees won a total of 2 Grammys and was overall a success. Then, drama!
Nothing but the blood, Jesus.
I didn't wake up one morning and decide, I'm about to do a solo album. It wasn't like that. It was more like the music came. The music came first, and before I knew, I had all these songs and this direction and this sound that I really wanted to communicate to the world. And the best way for me to do it was to do it solo, because it was extremely personal. It was extremely personal and real special to me, and a lot of it I didn't think would really fit into a Fuji format. So at that point, I knew it was time.
The drama began with Lauryn's and Wyclif's alleged hush-hush relationship, which Pras wasn't feeling. Wyclif got married to another woman, and Lauryn got into a relationship with the University of Miami football player and son of the late Bob Marley, Rohan Marley. Yeah, I know. I did a deep dive video on the life of Bob Marley, by the way, link in the DP below. Feel free to check it out, like, share and subscribe, and thank you. Now, Lauryn wanted to do a solo career, and of course this rubbed Wyclif the wrong way. I mean, It is alleged that he tried to block other producers to work on her projects later on. Petty. So in 1996, the Fugees officially disbanded. This wasn't the end of her woes though, as Lauryn fell pregnant with her first child, Zion, and her label advised her to terminate as she was in the height of her career. She refused. It was during this tough time that she went AWOL, MIA, and started writing a recording for her next album at Tough Gong Studio, Jamaica. Yes, the record studio of Robert Nesta Marley. Lauryn worked with new act producers from New York on her new album, and although some scoffed at her work, she still believed in her music. Good for her. The title of her album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, was inspired by two books. One, The Miseducation of a Negro, 1933, and the other one I can't remember. But what I do remember is Johari Newton, one of the people she worked with, stating, Lauryn was definitely the guide. It was her vision. Our job was to take what was in her head and put it down for her. Lauryn also saw a feminist cause as much as she wanted to be appreciated as an author, as she stated, but step out and try and control things. And they are adults. This is a very sexist industry. They'll never throw the genius title to a sister.
And the album of the year is...
The album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, was released on August 25, 1998. At least I was born. And was the most acclaimed album of 1998. The album blended R&B, doo-wop, pop, hip-hop, and reggae genres and was an honest representation of a woman's life and relationships. The album had hit singles including Doo-wop, That Thing, X Factor, which has been sampled by Drake in the song You Gotta Be Nice for What for the Snickers, Everything is Everything, and To Zion, which was a love letter to her first child, Zion. In the run-up to the 1999 Grammy Awards, Hill became the first woman to be nominated in 10 categories in a single year. Okay, so this is the part where I talk about her achievements, so buckle up. In addition to being nominated for her rendition of Can't Take My Eyes Off You, she appeared on several magazine covers including Time, Esquire, Rolling Stone, Teen People, and the New York Times fashion magazine. Lauryn also broke another record by becoming the first woman to win 5 times in one night. 5 times, ladies and lasses, taking home the awards for Best New Artist, Best Female R&B Vocal Performance, Best R&B Song, Best R&B Album, Album of the Year. Phew, this is crazy. This is hip-hop, she said.
Amen.
At this point, Lauryn was only 24 years old and had wisdom beyond her years. She became more spiritual as well.
After selling a whole lot of records and going on tour and being able to buy myself a lot of expensive things, after a period of time passed, I still wasn't a happier person. And it wasn't, had a lot of people coming in and out of my life, a lot of people I couldn't trust, a lot of people I know who loved me just for what I had and what I was doing, you know, as opposed to who I was as a person. And it really wasn't until I found myself. Well, actually, I found God. That's when I found myself.
There is another celebrity that people celebrated for choosing a life of normalcy at the height of their career, Dave Chappelle. Lauryn was another of those celebrities, by the way. At the peak of it all, at the top of the mountain, she witnessed the machinery of the industry which tried to push her to create more, even when she didn't feel inspired. Some could argue writer's block, but I totally get her, especially when she stated,
and you know that if you came from anything broken, or if you ever had a hurt in your life, you don't want to pass that hurt on. You know what I mean? You want to fix that. You want to fix that for yourself, and you want to fix that for your children, and you want to fix that for the children that listen to you. So I'm not a preacher. I'm not here to preach. I just want to say this, y'all. You know, hip hop, we always be the first ones to say, you know, it's not about talking it, it's about walking it. If everybody who came up here and said they love God, just walk that walk, y'all, for real, because it's serious. All right? Thank you. God bless you. Thank you to the source, y'all. Praise God. All right?